Well, such a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for taking some time to talk to me today. How has your COP28 experience been so far?
It's been quite amazing so far. I'm very, very pleased.
And you're going to be speaking shortly at the UK Pavilion. Can you give us a little preview of what you're going to be talking about?
Well, I'll probably be talking about uh, my organization. We are Family Foundation, and our latest um, intergenerational programs and what we're trying to do by bringing youth leaders into business making decisions.
We Are Family Foundation. When you set that up, and it's wonderful that it's obviously taken from one of your well-known songs. What was the sort of thinking and the impetus for that? What were you trying to achieve?
Well, at the beginning, it was purely an anti-bias organization. What was happening, three of my friends were in the first plane that was crashed into the World Trade Center. And as a result of that, there were a lot of incidents of violence in America against people that just looked Middle Eastern. They couldn't tell whether a person was Muslim or Sikh or whatever. It was just, and in fact, it was the brother of one of our employees was attacked. And we were just concerned that Americans needed to understand that we're all people, and if a person who commits a crime, if I rob a bank, not all black people are bank robbers. Like, it's just me. I'm the guy who robbed the bank, not every black person in America or in the world. And we try to make people understand that people who are Arabic or Indian, or in the case of our friend who was attacked, whose family was Sikh, just that it's just not right, that we have to, we're all brothers and sisters. And I know it sounds a little bit corny, and I'm an old school hippie and all that, but the fact of the matter is that we really, I'm a musician, so I'm an entertainer. I get to go all over the world. I've been to at least 140 countries, and people treat me like family. They don't, maybe it's because they like my music already, most likely that's the reason. But it's wonderful to know that I've been accepted everywhere I go. And I don't understand why people don't naturally just accept people and at least just be curious. Why not just be curious instead of angry?
That's how they started. And I think what's really interesting about that, and you've now obviously translated that into the climate crisis space and trying to talk to youth and thinking of the fact that we're all interconnected. So I work with Cayman Islands Government Office in the UK, and we've done a series called One Pack Insights. And it's all about interconnectivity. And I learned that migratory birds going from north to south need stopovers if you cut down their habitat. And I think learning how the ecosystem is connected, hopefully that would mean that people understand our interconnectivity. So what is the specific things that you're hoping to use We Are Family in relation to climate? Is it empowering people? Is it to spread message and awareness?
Well, what it is not just spreading the message and awareness. I really believe in action. The thing that's frustrated me is I'm 71 years old. I was an activist when I was a young teenager. The fact that we're still at a place where we're mainly just talking and not doing is frustrating to me. When I was younger, we were active, we were doing things. So what does that tell me? The youth, being a teenager, being young, I had the energy, I had the focus, I had the passion and the compassion to work like I did. When you get older, you have different responsibilities. So that's why I'm such a fan and such a background of intergenerational participation. If we can have the youth of the world working with, the corporate leaders, with government leaders, things, not only do I believe that things will just get done quicker, but much more efficient. I think about when I was a kid and I was, a science student, I had so much knowledge that if somebody had hired me when I was that young, oh my God, what could I have achieved?
And I love that. I love the fact that you're almost saying to people, this is an opportunity for young people to follow their passions, and for us as the older generation to be mentors and guides and to inspire them into different things that maybe they wouldn't have thought of. And I'm very conscious of time. How do you feel? What do you sort of feel that we can be doing more using the platform and culture? So I'm really passionate about using storytelling to get that message across. David Attenborough said, we protect what we lost, and we show people. I've been working on trying to save the blue iguanas, showing how they were brought back from extinction. It's when people see it that it connects to their heart, right? So are you using the power of music, which is obviously your background? I'd love to hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, so I personally use the power of music just to get my foot in the door so I can talk to people, because I don't write songs typically about solving problems. And the reason why I don't is because I believe in music being
almost
sort of
a release from everything,
exactly.
and we don't want it to have
almost
the preachy
escapism. Exactly.
Escapism.
So my music is designed to touch your heart, maybe make you dance, make you feel good, relax, or whatever. And also, the thing I always think about is, as close as I was to my mother, she would always get my lyrics wrong. So half the time she didn't know what the hell I was talking about. And she's like telling me the biggest song I've ever written is The Freak. And one of the lyrics goes, just come on down to 54. She would say, just come on down to the 5th floor. Why would I come down to the 5th floor, Mom? This is about Studio 54. It's about dancing, doing a dance mode. But, people sort of hear what they want to hear or whatever they hear. So I don't like the ambiguity that's built into pop songs. That's sort of a fun thing to me. It's like, I love hearing people sing a long lyric, because sometimes I go, God, I should have written it that way. So music is just my platform to get into, like I said, to just come into people's hearts and be able to speak to them. I don't want to go off the rails, but I just want to give you an example. So 2 weeks ago, I was here in Dubai and I was doing a concert. And this was, right, I guess, right after the war started. I'll call it a war, or the military action, whatever people want to call it, happened in Israel. And I said, with the Gaza Strip. Now, so I said to the people, the audience, before I started the show, I said, everybody, I want you to just take a moment and look around and tell me what you see. And they all looked around. This was a sold-out concert. It was like thousands of people. And I said, what do we see? We see Arabs, we see Jews, and the funny thing was there was a preponderance of Irish people there that I had happened to meet that was staying in my hotel. And I said, and an amazing amount of Irish people. And everybody laughed because they probably had met too. And I said, but what's really great, the point that I'm trying to make is that we're all here together and it all just feels like love. So why can't we take that thing that we're feeling right now back to where we live at home? Like, I don't quite understand. Here in Dubai, we're all family. We're all having a great time.
And music unites people, as you say. They're in the audience looking at their neighbour, united by their love for your music, and why can't we translate that to everyday life? And that's a really good way of thinking. And it's really interesting you've said that you're not sort of thinking about creating music with specific lyrics. And when you look back to the 80s and to the world. And I haven't seen any of those kind of climate songs come up, but actually you made me think that actually we don't need those kind of songs for this. It's more about just getting into people's hearts and making them think about whatever they need to be thinking about, because there's enough messaging for us.
Mm-hmm.
But like you say, you want to use your platform to connect with people, and hopefully I'm looking forward to hearing you speak later, because I imagine it's an impassioned, is it a plea to people to just have a think about what they can do and make a difference.
Yeah, honestly, as I said to you earlier, I believe in action. Talking is wonderful. God, I love, debating a little bit. But, when I was a child, I was socialized to care about people. So I've always been an activist, if that's what we want to use. If that's the word we want to use. I've always helped people all my life because that's how my parents raised me. And then when I became a Black Panther, everybody likes to focus on that. And I said, no. I grew into the Black Panthers. I started out as a Cub Scout, a Boy Scout, and I was in the Peace and Freedom Party and all that stuff. I said, when I got to be 16 years old, after a whole life of doing political work, doing just work around the community, the Black Panther Party came into my life, mainly because of the fact that in New York, this was a period, Vietnam War was happening, Cambodia, Pol Pot, killing fields, what was going on in South America, the Iranian Revolution, all of these things were coming into our lives, and we were focused on how do we change, how do we really, how do our voices, which is sometimes just the loudest thing or the strongest thing we have, because we're dealing with countries that are far away, how do we make an impression on the people? And so that's why I joined the Black Panther Party, because it seemed like the press was really interested in an organization like the Black Panthers, because we looked like we were really tough and, go into the courthouse with guns, and they loved that. But the truth of the matter is that I spent almost all my time in the Panther Party feeding kids, cleaning people's houses, sweeping up the streets. I never got in a gunfight with anyone. I don't think.
And I think that is the message maybe we sort of end on, is that inclusivity is a global family. And I think hopefully things like this, because we meet people from different places, but all of a sudden you realize we have so much more in common. Yeah. And we can share that knowledge. So I'm really looking forward to hearing you speak shortly. It's an absolute pleasure. I mean, I've grown up with your music, love your music, and thank you so much for taking time to speak.
Thank you.
Thank you.